Hi, I'm Vanessa from SpeakEnglishWithVanessa.com. Do you speak like this? You shouldn't. Let's talk about it. Imagine this scenario. Your coworkers have asked you to order a birthday cake for your boss. So you call up the bakery and you tell them that you want the cake to say, "Happy birthday to the best boss in the world." But when you get the cake back, there's a serious problem. On the cake, it says, "Have a big day to the best boss in the wheel." What? What went wrong? Something terrible happened. And then you realized that when you were speaking on the phone, you didn't speak clearly enough. This is a big problem. And now your mistake is in icing for everyone to see. Ugh, so frustrating and embarrassing. Well, of course, a good baker would not write some kind of nonsense like this on a cake, but I've seen plenty of mistakes and typos from English learners when they're not speaking clearly, and making 5 common speaking mistakes that you should avoid. Let's talk about them and a solution to help you speak better. To help you never forget what you learn in today's lesson and to never make these embarrassing mistakes, you can download the free PDF that I've created with all of the tips, sample sentences, and ideas from today's lesson. Plus, you can answer Vanessa's challenge question at the end of the PDF worksheet. Click on the link in the description to download the free PDF today. All right, let's get started by talking about the first speaking mistake that I often see English learners make. And it is mumbling. Hi, my name is Vanessa and I teach English online. You want to learn English with me? What? I did not speak clearly at all. I was mumbling. It means my mouth is closed. Hi, my name is Vanessa and I'm going to teach you English today. It's not good for an English teacher, but it's also not good when you're speaking a language that's not your native language. You absolutely want other people to understand you. If you have not perfect grammar, if you have not perfect vocabulary, you know what? It is not the end of the world. But if you're mumbling, no one's going to be able to understand what you're saying. What's the solution for mumbling? It is enunciating. Enunciating means that you speak clearly. This might mean that you speak a little slower than you normally would, or maybe than you would like to. But you know what? As an English learner, this is perfectly fine. When you speak clearly, you avoid embarrassing mistakes like we saw at the beginning of this video. Your cake, if you speak clearly, would say, "Happy birthday to the best boss in the world." It would say it so beautifully and clearly, and your boss would be really excited and happy that you put in such beautiful effort for him. Speaking mistake number 2 that I often see my English students make is not speaking up when you have an idea. It doesn't even need to be an amazing idea. This idea of speaking up means that you are telling other people your ideas or telling other people your opinions. So the mistake I see my English students make is if they have an idea, they don't say it. They just keep it in and they let other people speak their mind, but they don't share their ideas. There might be 2 reasons for this. The first one might be that you just don't feel comfortable speaking in English. You don't feel confident enough that you'll be able to express yourself in the right way or use the right words. But do you know what? Saying something is absolutely better than saying nothing. So the solution to not speaking up is to say something. It doesn't need to be perfect, and I think that perfectionism is often the thing that holds English learners back. In fact, it can hold all of us back in a lot of ways in life, but just saying something and realizing even if my English is not perfect, it's okay. Another reason that you might not speak up is if you doubt your ideas. Maybe you feel like it's not a great idea. Other people's ideas are probably better. This is not a language issue. This is something that's in your head, and those are the hardest things to overcome. So instead of overthinking, maybe this isn't a good idea, oh, maybe their idea is better, maybe they won't like my idea, instead, practice speaking up for yourself. Say, actually, I think this would be a good idea too, or what do you think about this idea? I'd like to share something that I was thinking. These are all wonderful things to say, and they help you to speak up. The third speaking mistake I often see my English students make is that they use offensive language or even profanity when it's not appropriate. So, what's the solution for this? Well, I know that a lot of English movies and TV shows use bad words. We call that profanity. Casually, easily, they use it in daily life, but really, especially as an English learner, you want other people to feel comfortable speaking with you, and using bad words just isn't really a good idea. If you feel like you might accidentally be saying some bad words, I recommend checking out this video that I made about some common words that are often said incorrectly as a bad word. So you don't want to accidentally say a bad word instead, but I recommend overall avoiding using a bad word. Instead, you could say something like this: "Hey, I don't really agree. How about if we do this instead?" Oh, that's so much better than confronting them and saying, "You beep, you blah blah, why are you beep beep?" No. Instead, you can use softer language, and that's perfectly all right. Other people will feel more comfortable talking with you. The fourth mistake that I often see my English students make, and that I make myself, is to rely too much on filler words. Yes, it's true that American English speakers often use filler words, but if you use these too much, it could make it difficult to understand what you're saying, and it might not really be pleasant to have a conversation with someone who's constantly saying, when you stall like that, stall means to wait between words or to wait between events even, then it doesn't really flow well as a conversation. So yes, you can use filler words, but don't overuse them. Instead, don't be afraid of a little silence. It's perfectly all right if you're telling someone about your day and you say, "Yeah, I walked into the office and I couldn't believe it, but there was a..." What's that word? "There was a printer on my desk." Okay, if you can't remember the word printer, you don't need to constantly fill that space with something to say. There was a thing. What was it? A printer. You could talk like that, but you know what? If you did that too much, it would be a little bit stressful to have a conversation like that. So instead, don't be afraid to use some blank space. We all need a little bit of silence in our lives, and it's totally okay. Feel free to use a filler word here and there, but just not too much. The fifth and final mistake that I often see my English students make when they're speaking is that they either speak too quietly or they speak too loudly. Usually it's the first one. They speak too quietly. And this might be because they're feeling shy. They're worried about speaking up like we talked about before. But really, this might just be because you don't want to offend other people, possibly from your native culture. It's not polite to speak at a normal tone like this. Instead, it's more common to speak softly and quietly. But often in the US, this is seen as a lack of confidence. It's seen as somebody who doesn't really feel comfortable being in that situation. And even if that's true, as they say, fake it till you make it, try to speak at a normal tone. As for speaking too loud, this might be because of your native culture, or this could be because you maybe feel like you need to speak extra loud in order for other people to understand you. But I would like to suggest for you to moderate your tone, notice the volume that other people are speaking at, and try to match that. This is especially true, of course, when you're out in public, but I've really noticed this stark difference between cultures. When we're sitting at a coffee shop in the US, it's pretty common to talk normally, and usually you can hear other people's conversations, but you don't want to hear them too loudly. So if you're talking to your friend about the date that she went on and you said, "Oh, how was your date? Oh, really? He kissed you? Oh, he had bad breath?" Oh boy, if you say that too loudly, everyone's gonna kind of stop and say, "Oh, can I talk a little quieter?" This is not meant for the whole cafe, but you don't need to whisper it either. You can just talk in a normal voice, and that is perfectly acceptable. And the same goes for the workplace. If you're giving a presentation, for example, you need to have a presentation voice. And that's kind of what I do when I make videos for you, is I make sure that I speak up, I speak clearly, and I enunciate so that you can understand, but I'm also using the appropriate words. I'm not using swear words. I'm speaking in daily life English, and I'm using the correct volume. I'm making sure that you can hear me accurately and clearly through the camera, through the internet, to the other side of the world. Can you hear me? I want to make sure that you can hear me. So if you're giving a presentation at work, make sure that you speak up and you use a good office voice. I hope that you can avoid these 5 common speaking mistakes that I see my English students make. Don't forget to download the free PDF worksheet. There is a link in the description. You can print it out, put it under your pillow to sleep on, review it before you give a presentation, review it especially before you call a bakery to get a cake made for your boss. Don't make that mistake. And make sure that you are remembering what you learned today with the PDF. There's a link in the description. Download it today. Well, now I have a question for you. I want to know, which one of these 5 mistakes do you make? Do you speak too quietly? Do you possibly use too many filler words, or maybe some bad words? Do you speak up and share your ideas, or maybe do you mumble too much? Let me know in the comments. I can't wait to see what you have to say, and I'll see you again next Friday for a new lesson here on my YouTube channel. Bye! The next step is to download the free PDF worksheet for this lesson. With this free PDF, you will master today's lesson and never forget what you have learned. You can be a confident English speaker. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for a free English lesson every Friday. Bye!